All right, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today is Monday, March 9th. And as of this morning, I officially announced our startup on LinkedIn. So I'll put up the post right here and I'll leave my LinkedIn in the description. If you guys are interested, send me a connection request and let me know that you're coming from YouTube. But I guess to get into it, we're building Canopy. Canopy is a next generation warehouse management system where we're not only helping you log and track processes within a warehouse, we're helping you get better throughout every task, every operation, every manual process that currently exists within a e-commerce fulfillment warehouse. So right now we're starting with the software that kind of holds the warehouse together. So most WMSs on the market currently are just Excel replacements. So think about the most primitive version of a dashboard or taking action within a warehouse instead of using Excel. And there's currently no form of learning and optimization. There's a handful of different processes that are done every day, every other day, and sometimes multiple times a day that all can be optimized to ensure that, laborers' time is spent doing the most efficient work and that your costs are being managed and are visible to business owners, regardless of the sort of brands or businesses you work with. As a 3PL or fulfillment center, you'll get constant feedback into how to improve your system and which processes might be introducing more costs or are a larger percentage of your costs within your warehouse. So super excited. It's kind of been only known to friends for the last couple of months, and it feels good just to get it out there. It's not like a big product launch by any means, but now that I've shared that, I'm happy that you guys know as well. Over the weekend, I've been working on a Claude co-work project for my outreach. I've been doing a lot of research into that, and then I started actually building it this morning. Once I finish that up, I'll give you guys a look into what I built, why it's useful, why it's better than some of the other pre-built or pre-packaged solutions on the internet. And hopefully that might help someone watching who wants to automate their own business processes as well. Today's Monday. We're also doing shoulders and triceps later today, so stick around for that. And I'm happy you guys are here for another week's video. Welcome back. I wanted to talk through the CRM and the outreach process that I've been building with the help of some automation tools. So you can see on my screen right here, this is what our outbound cadence looks like. There's 5 steps with a mix of LinkedIn messages and emails. We're currently just doing outreach and customer interviews for learning's sake. We're not really trying to sell our product yet. I think that'll come down the line after our first pilot, which we are in the process of setting up right now as well. You can see we have day 0, day 2 or 3, 5 to 7, and then 2 follow-up emails to end off the sequence. I've been using Apollo to search for leads, currently just starting off with businesses in Canada. So using Apollo, I have almost 550 contacts. I think 80% of them have email addresses that Apollo has verified. So starting with those, let's call it 450 contacts, I've been using Claude co-work to qualify each contact. So what I've set up within Claude is a skill that researches the company to double check that they do exactly what we're looking for. If you use like Apollo or some other like prospecting software, there's tons of different filters that kind of overlap between businesses in a similar industry. So by doing this, I don't have to manually search up the website, try to find where they do e-commerce fulfillment, for example, and this is able to do it pretty much autonomously. And I've been checking its work over the first test batch that I had ran through this process. After co-work qualifies each candidate, it uploads the results to this Notion page here. I'm going to blur out some of the contact information, but you can see the first item here is myself. I've been using this test profile for Zapier, which is the next step. Here on this property, you can see all the different cadence stages. So the 5 that I mentioned earlier, and then a win, a loss, and then archive, and then not started. In Zapier, for every cadence stage, we have a automation. So for LinkedIn request to message, Zapier goes in, and it looks at some of the research that Cowork did in the previous step, and then it personalizes a LinkedIn request message and a LinkedIn bump message as well. And then moving into the email steps of the process, Zapier will create 3 different emails, all using some sort of personalized information, all based off of a template that I had given it for each stage, like for the bump and then the final touch point. And every single time one of these contacts emails me, Zapier knows to set off a specific flag here, which is in conversation. And from then on, we want to take these contacts out of the sales funnel because we don't want to send them like a bump or a final touch point email if they're actively replying to the first or one of the other emails that we had sent to them. And the last step in the process is a scheduled Claude Cowork task, which will run every single morning at 8 a.m. to look through this database and see which tasks have required actions that are due today and some of the required actions in future days. I think it took almost a day to set this up. There's a lot of like little things with Zapier and using that for the first time, especially email formatting. As you can see here, this is the draft for our last touchpoint email. You can see some HTML formatting there, which we needed for the email to be sent and formatted the right way. We have a few hundred contacts in Canada to test and to get into our funnel. We'll see how that goes in the following days. I'm going to spend the rest of today actually doing the first step, which is reaching out on LinkedIn with a empty connection request. And then we'll see how this system goes for the rest of the week. And then hopefully into next week when we can actually start booking meetings with some of these folks. Right on, Raz. You want to run us through what's going on?
So, finished the inventory module. That's keeping track of all of the products that a company's got in their inventory, as well as like where they're positioned in the warehouse. Then we also just finished the orders module. I did a Shopify integration with like a development store that I made up. So we can sync in the orders from there, and then via webhook we automatically get the orders into our software, and then we can take those orders for fulfillment. And that's actually what I'm working on right now, is the picking model. So once there's actually warehouse employees using the software, how they're going to actually pick up the products for those orders. So it gives them a bunch of orders and it gives them a route to follow around the warehouse to pick up each one of these small products and put them into these order batches. So brands have products that they sell and they kind of offload it to companies with bigger warehouses to do all the fulfillment for them, which takes away a lot of the hassle for smaller brands who just want to sell their products straight to customers. So this software is basically just to manage every single warehouse operation. So that's inventory, that's receiving the products from the actual client, that's shipping the products out, that's picking the orders, sorting them. Yeah, basically anything to do with getting a product from the client to the customer is what the software is aiming to manage.
Okay, welcome back. It's end of the day on Wednesday now, and I figured I'd just kind of give an update on what I've been doing today and then how outreach has been going, especially with some of the automations that I've built in the last couple of days. So first, the CRM has been working great. It takes a couple of clicks to just log every single time I send in a LinkedIn connection, but it's worth it to track, and some of the statuses that I have to determine like where we are in those conversations have been helpful. With that being said, I've already booked 2 meetings. One is tomorrow morning and one is early next week. So I'm already excited about that. But today we sent 150 LinkedIn requests. All in all, out of the 550 contacts that Apollo gave to me, Claude Cowork was able to filter out and keep 220. And today I've roughly gone through 200 of these contacts. And I think around 40 or so I've actually disqualified. There are a couple of reasons. One is that they plainly just don't do what I'm looking for them to do. They don't offer the service that I'm specifically looking for during my qualification, and it must have just slipped through Cowork somehow. The second one is that they actually do something very similar to what we do. And for those reasons, you know, their marketing on their website or on their LinkedIn, it checks all the boxes. And number 3 is that They're actually large enough to where they've already created their own in-house solution for what we're trying to build and offer. Everything else has been pretty good and I'm super happy with it. It's actually saved me so much time that I'm doing it too quickly, and I've gotten temporarily disabled twice on LinkedIn today. The first one was just for an hour, which wasn't too bad, so I just had lunch. But then this last time, I think it was 3 or 4 hours, so that kind of put me out for the rest of the day. But like I said, made a lot of progress. I already have 2 meetings scheduled. I think I need to go back to my roots and start cold calling again. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in a previous video, but when we're working on our first startup direction, which was construction robotics, I called a lot of different companies. I want to say I called more than 100. Back then, LinkedIn wasn't really an option. As you can imagine, like owners of construction companies might not have LinkedIn or might not be extremely active on that. But in just like one day's experience, it's been a lot better on LinkedIn with a lot more accepted connection requests and some progress, like I mentioned. I do think we have to get back to cold calling. I've kind of been putting it off just because it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I think we have to get back to it tomorrow. That's everything for now. I'll keep you guys updated. Today is legs and biceps, so gonna head over and do that, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, welcome back. It's the next day, it's Thursday. I just had a really good call with a local 3PL, and I kind of want to share what I learned. So going into this call, I had some goals, and some of these goals I'm keeping consistent between all the customer calls that I'm planning to do this week. I am using some of the things I've learned from this book, The Mom Test. If you're looking to do unbiased customer interviews and want to learn how, I would definitely recommend it. Some of the things I wanted to learn, number one, would be what are kind of the main players in the industry right now, maybe the ranking and why they are, ranked what they are. The person I spoke with had experience using all 3 of the current best options. So it was really great. And he let me know that recently they switched from, I think, the 3rd on that list to the 2nd on that list. And he went over what that transition period was like. It took months, I think the better part of a year, to transition to their new warehouse system. He shared some of the pain points along the way and some of the reasons why they decided to make the switch. Another goal was to learn what other businesses' sales are like, what the sales cycle is like, and what might be required. Like on paper, at least with a lot of the options online right now for warehouse software, the feature set looks very, very similar. So I wanted to know what would make one product or one company stand out amongst the competitors. You mentioned that warm intros and referrals and referral programs play a big part within the industry, and getting in front of a customer who's willing to entertain you and your product and to take the time to meet with you, really care about connections and being introduced and a good word of mouth. So he stressed that that would be very important for us to start working on now, and when we have a product that we're looking to sell at scale. And he mentioned that once we're ready to start selling, having a really good champion customer of ours to help lead that charge and to help put us in rooms with other businesses would be very, very important. He also mentioned that there is a distinction for these softwares, whether the 3PL is doing more B2B or DTC. And he mentioned that there's different integrations for each one of those types of businesses. So that's something for us to look into as well. And that might be 2 different segments that we might have to pick between. I think there were also some other really good signals for what we think the problem is that we're looking to solve. Very happy with that first call. I think I learned a lot, and I'm always trying my best to not bias the interviewee. Funny thing is, this morning I was doing a little bit of last minute research on the interviewee. I kind of knew what I was going to say, but I want to take one quick look at their LinkedIn. And then as soon as I was done the meeting, I went back on LinkedIn to search up someone that he would be willing to refer me to. And I am banned again on LinkedIn. So I'm not sure why. This time it's a 2-day ban. So it went from a couple hours to 24 hours. Now it's, I believe, 48 hours. That really sucks because I've sent out over 100 LinkedIn requests, and I kind of want to follow up with some and send kind of my initial LinkedIn message, but I think that'll have to wait until Saturday or even Monday, which is a small setback. But like I said yesterday, I think we have to get back on cold calling. So I think I'm going to spend the rest of the day doing that, and I'll see you guys later on. welcome back and happy Friday. Just finished doing back and biceps and I figured this is the perfect time to end the vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know I've been sharing a lot more about what we've been doing and then what our business is all about. Yesterday, I posted on LinkedIn a little bit more about me and my internship career at the University of Waterloo. I'm new to posting on LinkedIn, so I don't know what a good number of impressions or likes are, but I'm pretty happy with what I got so far. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to take a read. I pretty much just brain dumped all of my thoughts about all of my 6 internship experiences. If that's something you guys would like to hear more about, let me know in the comments. If you guys are coming from LinkedIn, let me know in the comments below. I think something that I'm really trying to build towards is like a founder-led brand and business. And that's the big motivation behind posting on YouTube and then now on LinkedIn as well. I'm really trying to write without the use of AI and things like that, and really just sharing what I think and some of my personal experiences in the past, and especially going forward working on my business. If you guys are seeing this on the upload date of March 21st, we are sticking to the 1 video per week schedule. So I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the videos so far. So if you have, leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you want to learn anything more about me or my business, and I'll be happy to talk about it in a future video. But again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next Saturday.